Hi, this is Jack here. I wanted to share with you my garden technique here, how I do my corn. Sometimes I do beans too this way. You could probably pretty much do about anything if you really wanted to. It's called checker row. It's actually an old technique. It's how I do it to keep weeds down a little bit. It's a lot easier to maintain. It takes a lot more space though. As you can see, the corn is rowed this way. If you watch it, it turns to rows diagonally. And if you come over here, your rows that way. So as you're turning, you got rows either way you go. And this is actually an old technique. Like I said, they used to use this in the old days when they used to put corn out. They would this way you can cultivate it both directions. Like I like to run my tiller this way, and then I run my tiller this way, and then you've got your corn in hills like this, and then I like to hill them up. And the hill them also keeps the weeds out from around them, but it also strengthens the roots in wind and stuff, because the roots like to grow a little higher on the stalk. It kind of keeps the corn a little more stable. But it seems to me that it's a lot easier to weed instead of putting them in rows, because then you got to go down the rows and pull the weeds out by hand, and that's a pain in the butt. But so I like to do it. I've also done my beans this way. Back here, this corn here is planted a little later than that corn, so it's a little height difference. But I got some beans and hills too, and checker row. And then over here I got this popcorn. And then I got some later corn. This is white corn. I can't think, it's not Silver Queen, but it's something else. But just starting to come up. But I usually put about 4 seeds per hill. And I've got one of those old-fashioned corn planters I use to do it. But how you lay it out is I get a straight line. I'll put a straight line at one end of the garden and put it down at the other end of the garden. Make a line, and just make a series of lines where you just use your string, and then you can take a hoe or I got a cultivator with a marker thing on it, and I make a row like you would plant in your garden, like you would if you was rowing it. And then I come through another way with a string the opposite way, and I mark another row. So then you got a bunch of squares in your field or in your garden. So wherever the squares intersect, that's where I plant my seed, and that keeps your rows straight. I got a piece of tape on my hoe that I use for width. That's how I always measure my width. You can make it however wide you want. I have mine just set so when I till, I can go one tiller width, and then when I come back with the tiller, I'm straddling that other little gap in between the 2 tiller tines that never gets, the tiller never gets. It leaves a little gap, so when I come back the other way, I can till that back up, and I'm also tilling fresh ground over here. So I just want to show you guys how I check row corn, check row anything really. Beans, you can also do this with anything really. Carrots, lettuce, you can put little hills of lettuce or carrots or anything you wanted to do. Your tomatoes, you have to allow for a little bit more room with those, but you can do this pretty much anything. And it seems to me it's a lot easier to weed. I ran the tiller today through here just a few minutes ago, and then I hilled this corn, so you can see there's not very many weeds. I got some sunflowers growing volunteer, and I put some pumpkin and squash in here too. By the time it starts vining out, the corn will be real tall, so it won't bother anything. So that's how I like to do it. Thought I'd share this with you guys. It's a new idea maybe for somebody. But anyway, I'd like to try this with corn sometime in a field. I think it's kind of neat how this lines up. You got to do it real good, or your rows get off, and then you have a hard time cultivating. But well, thanks for watching.